All right, so here's the chapter 6 homework, technically covering 6.1 and 6.2 in your book. There's 4 questions. Turns out there's 3 confidence interval ones and 1 hypothesis testing one. And if I'm being perfectly honest with you, it's not the best homework in the world. I don't know. Get the credit for it, and then maybe you can get a little bit of extra knowledge by doing these problems. And hopefully, the written problem that I give you on this topic will kind of fill in any gaps in your knowledge. The first one, they more or less spoon feed you exactly what you need, right? You want an 89% confidence interval, and these are the 4 numbers that you're going to put into 2 prop z interval. Right? You probably would have been able to figure that all out on your own. The one thing that I guess is slightly different is the symbol that we've been using for the number of successes within a sample is the letter X. So we've seen X1 and N1. They use R as opposed to X for the number of successes. But I'm sure you would have figured that out just by process of elimination. Type those into your calculator, it'll spit out a couple answers. If you can see how this is talking about the difference in the 2 population proportions, if those symbols mean anything to you, great. Otherwise, just round it to the nearest thousandth, get your points, and move on. Then there's 2 more confidence interval questions, and I don't know, I don't like these either. I don't like the first one. I feel like it's too easy. They kind of spoon feed you everything. I want it written more in terms of a problem like this. But unfortunately, I don't like the way this one was written either. Maybe I'm just too picky. I don't know. They give you the sample sizes here. But then really, this text, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I think what they should say is, in a sample of 100 MCC, whatever that is, students, 77% of the sample believe blah, blah, blah. But when you read this about 77% of MCC students, it almost makes it look like they're talking about the population proportion up here. But really, they need to be giving you the sample proportion. What you're supposed to get out of this is, in this sample, this is the proportion that fit the given criteria. And in this sample, this is the proportion that fit the given criteria. And you're supposed to make a 95% confidence interval for the difference between the 2, the difference between these guys and these guys. All right, so these are your 1s and these are your 2s. And you'll put those into the 2 prop z interval calculator function. It'll spit out a couple numbers, and you'll put them right there and right there. Fine. You get anything out of that? I don't know, maybe. I mean, I like that it's written within the text. That's good. I just don't think the text is chosen very well up here. And then to add to my dismay with this problem, B is kind of strange too. I don't know that you'll get anything out of B. This is another one of those, read it and see if you can understand what they're getting at. The answer to this box is written on this page somewhere. I don't know if that's helpful. And then this is related to this box. Once you figure out this one, maybe you can figure out this one. I don't know how to give you much of a better hint without just telling you the answer. But the number, whatever. I'm not going to just tell you the answer. See if you can get anything out of it. If you can, great. If not, don't worry about it. You can just skip it. You can consider this extra credit if you want. Question 3, it'll turn out it's almost the same as question 2. Except now, instead of talking about some made-up colleges, we're talking about, I don't know, Texans and New Yorkers or something to that effect. But it's the same idea. We're making a 95% confidence interval for the difference in the proportion of Texans and New Yorkers. So it looks like Texans are my 1s and New Yorkers are my 2s. And let's see, I have 574 randomly selected Texans. 356 of them are in favor of this initiative. So I actually like this one. I think the way this is worded is a lot more like what you would see on a test. So it's a good one to read through. Make sure you can pull out all the relevant information. Find the numbers that go here and here. Maybe even see if you can sketch the picture that includes your level of certainty, the bounds of your interval, and your point estimate. See if you can state your conclusion in the way we're stating them in the videos. I think this is a good problem. Then after you do all that, make sure you get your credit for the homework by putting 2 numbers here and here, and then try your best to figure out what they're going for here and here. Again, the numbers you're put in here are written in this problem somewhere. Maybe you can figure them out, and if you can't, don't worry about it a whole lot as long as you understand how to do the steps that I've been doing in the videos. That leaves one more problem. We haven't done any hypothesis testing yet. Here's a hypothesis testing question. So we're doing hypothesis testing. It gives you the null and alternative hypotheses. Note we're comparing together 2 different population proportions. So it's going to be a 2 prop z test. It's going to be a 2-tailed test here. Hopefully when we read through here, we can find N1, X1, N2, and X2. And with all of that information, you could ignore this. This isn't something we learned in our class what a continuity correction is, so just completely ignore that. We can find a test statistic and a p-value, and then based on your p-value, you can figure out if you want to what you want to do with the null hypothesis and what your conclusion should be. So I don't know, as grumpy as I am and how much I don't like some of these homework problems, I think 4 is fine and part of 3 is fine. And I guess 1 and 2, hopefully you can get through them. And then that's the last homework assignment that you'll have this term, dealing with hypothesis testing and confidence intervals. We have a completely different topic for chapter 7, and we're done with class.